Welcome, everybody. I'm Marc David, founder of the Institute for the Psychology of Eating. We're in the Psychology of Eating podcast. I'm with Teri today. Welcome, Teri.
Hi, Marc. Thanks for having me.
I'm so glad we're doing this. And you know that one of my favorite questions to ask is that if you could wave your magic wand and get whatever you wanted with food and body, what would that be for you?
Well, I actually have a few things. First and foremost is to lose weight. That's kind of where I started digging into looking for ways to lose weight. I'd like to only eat when I'm hungry. I find myself whenever I get stressed and want to feel better, I start to eat. I'd like to get more sleep. At the beginning of 2020, I actually started having a lot of hot flashes. And I called my doctor and did some blood work and found out that I was menopausal, and I was only 43. So it's a little early. And ever since then, I've really not been able to sleep real good at night. I do take Ambien and it helps, but I still don't sleep at like a good 8 hours. So those are just some things I'd like to work on.
Okay. So you want to lose weight. You want to eat only when you're hungry, and better sleep.
Yes.
Let's start with the easy stuff.
Okay.
Which is eating when we're hungry, losing weight. It's all, those are likely connected somehow. How much weight do you want to lose?
I want to lose about 20 pounds.
Mm-hmm. And when was the last time you would have been at your desired weight?
I'd say it's probably been close to 10 years.
And so what happened starting that 10 years ago that 20 pounds came on your body? What do you think has been different for you?
Well, whenever I was 20 pounds lighter, I was going through a divorce. And I was exercising a lot to kind of take my mind off the stress and eating really well. And so we got separated, and then I went to work, and I wasn't eating very well. In my job, I sit a lot. So I think it just gradually came on. My habits changed.
Mm-hmm. So when you were 20 pounds lighter, roughly how long were you at that weight?
I was probably at that weight for 3 or 4 years.
Okay. So you've been sitting a lot, your habits have changed. And when you say that you tend to sometimes eat when you are not hungry, do you notice any patterns? Does that happen at a particular time during the day or during the week?
Yes, it's during work. My job is a high paced, very stressful job. So sometimes when I'm in between problems at work, I get anxious, I guess, and nervous, and I don't really know what to do with myself. So then I feel like I need to do something. So my first thing is to have a snack for some reason.
Mm-hmm. What might you snack on?
It's usually nuts is what I usually have at work. Peanut butter. I do bring fruit sometimes. Bananas is one of the fruits that I like to eat. Stuff like that.
So when you were in your teens, how was your relationship with your body back then?
When I was in teens, I was a very active teenager. I was thin. I really didn't pay much attention to my weight, honestly.
Mm-hmm. How about in your 20s?
In my 20s, I went to college and I put on the freshman 40 instead of the freshman 20. And when I finally graduated from college, then I got back into dieting and I lost all the weight again.
Back into dieting. And when you say dieting, does that mean you were just like forcing yourself to eat low calorie? Were you just eating healthier food?
Yeah, it was low calorie. Usually like a chicken, protein, and mostly vegetables for sides, things like that.
Okay. So have you tried to diet in this last bunch of years?
Yes. I have. Recently, I was trying to do keto again because keto had worked. And over the past 10 years, I've fluctuated 5 to 10 pounds, but I've never gotten back down to the 20 pounds that I want to lose. And I don't know. It's like I don't feel like it's working anymore. I go to the gym 4 to 5 days a week. I was trying the keto, and this past time when I was trying the keto, I feel like it's too heavy. I was starting to not feel well. And of course, it is the end of the year, it's the holidays. I tend to kind of let go at the end of the year also, because there's too many parties and too many things going on.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to just bounce around a bit. Did your doctor, when you were diagnosed as, wow, you're going through early menopause, were you prescribed any kind of medications?
He actually gave me 3 options. There was one option to do an over-the-counter, I forgot what it's called, estrogen. And I tried that. It didn't work. It didn't really do anything for me. So his next option was to try a low dose of antidepressant. So I tried that. And when I first took the very first pill, it made me really sick. So I cut it back to half a pill. And I probably did that for about a month. And I think I felt good for 2 weeks, and that was it. So I weaned myself off of that. His third option was to do hormones, a hormone replacement therapy. And I'm really not ready to do that. I don't want to go that extreme, because there's stuff in the air about cancer and things like that. So what I've actually done is I've used essential oils. Like I told you, my work is stressful. So I've used essential oils as a smell and calming aromatherapy type thing. And this company that I get the oils from also has an over-the-counter like female supplement. It's called phytoestrogen. And I've been taking that, and that's helped me a lot with my hot flashes and stuff like that.
Excellent. And the sleep issues, remind me again when they started?
I think the sleep issues started probably about 6 months before I even found out that I was going through menopause.
Got it. So you probably started that menopausal process. Sounds like it threw off your sleep.
Correct.
Sounds like that was the trigger. So, strange question. Do you trust your doctor? Do you like the relationship that you have with him?
Well, he's actually a brand new doctor. This is the first time I'd ever seen him. So I don't have much of a relationship with him.
Got it. Okay. See, here's an interesting thing. Menopause is a fascinating experience. And I don't say that from personal experience as having gone through it, but I say that from personal and professional experience of having witnessed it, and witnessed it in friends, family, loved ones, and certainly a lot of clients. I would say, in the first, there was about 15 years when I was in private practice. In those 15 years, a majority of my clients were women of menopausal age. So I'm emphasizing that just because I've watched women go through this process, and I've watched what comes up, and I'm fascinated by it. And it's not unusual. Obviously, some of the symptoms that you're having, the hot flashes, the inability to get deep sleep, the weight piece of the puzzle. A lot of times women going through menopause, there will be weight gain, and you can do everything in the universe. You could exercise your brains out. You can diet and hardly eat any calories, and the weight doesn't come off. There are women who go through menopause. There's no weight issues. It just pretty much runs the gamut. So all I'm saying is that while you're on the menopausal journey, it is I want to say historically, in my experience, it's a difficult task to shapeshift the body, to help it lose weight. It's just not easy as when you are not going through menopause, either pre or post, because you're on a hormonal ride that is unique and different for every woman. And as you can see in your unique menopausal journey, for whatever reason, who knows what it is, you started out a little earlier. So I emphasize that not to make you feel bad about yourself or to make you feel hopeless. It's more just to say that even if you did everything right, we just don't know right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, we don't know how easy it's going to be for you to lose weight. What I think is a useful conversation is you getting better and better at kind of tuning into your body, which it sounds like you're doing, quite honestly. You're noticing, wow, I took this antidepressant. That didn't make me feel good. Tried half, worked for a little bit, weaned myself off of it. Hey, try, using aromatherapy, using a natural phytoestrogen product. So that to me is all about you experimenting, which I like for you. The fact that Ambien, which is a pretty potent sleep aid, the fact that that's not giving you great sleep captures my attention and really makes me believe that there's something in your hormonal picture that's interfering with good sleep. On top of all that, you're in a stressful job where you're sitting down and you want to feel good during the day, and food makes us feel good.
Mm-hmm.
So, and on top of that, you're noticing that, hey, keto diets worked for me before, but something, I try it now and it feels heavy. So I actually like that observation for you. And I like it because it's you tapping into your body, because the reality is there are things that used to work for me and you 5 years ago or 10 years ago or 20 years ago, certain TV shows, certain kind of music, certain kinds of friends that worked then, but they don't work now. Certain diets work for us for a time and then they stop working. So I'm just commending you that you're exploring. Mm-hmm. And you're trying different things out. And I understand you not wanting to do hormone replacement therapy. If it was up to me, if you were my sister and my loved one, what I would tell you to do is find a doctor who practices the use of bioidentical hormones, which is a little bit more of a specialty when it comes to working with different hormonal challenges. Because I would be interested to see what they would suggest for you. In fact, if you Google bioidentical hormones and the city that you're in or the major city that you're closest to, you might find somebody. There are also a lot of doctors who are doing telemedicine, meaning if you can't find somebody in your area, you might be able to find someone in your state who's licensed to practice in your state, who will literally do this. They'll get on a Zoom call with you, they'll order certain tests, and they'll work with you on that level. What I like about bioidentical hormone replacement is that you're using essentially hormones that are as close as humanly possible to the hormones in your body. So there's far less of a risk in that regard. And oftentimes doctors who are using that will at the same time recommend, some of the things that you're doing, like using a phytoestrogen kind of product, which I think is great for you. So it's part of it is just stepping a little bit outside the mainstream box sometimes to get the result that you're looking for. Mm-hmm. Again, with sleep, if Ambien's not working for you, and this all started when you had early onset of menopause, then I'm thinking it's hormonal.
That's kind of what I think too.
And therefore, you'd have to tweak your hormones or ride it out. So it's either riding it out and just having not the world's best sleep for a while, or going to a doctor that works in a different realm when it comes to hormone replacement therapy, and just gathering information, see what they say. Because if you think about it as if you're the consumer, and you and I as consumers, we hire experts. You might hire an expert to come and, fix your plumbing in your house. Or you might get an estimate from 3 different plumbers if you have a big job. And you then choose the person that you like the best. You choose the person that sounds like they know what they're doing and that you feel you're going to trust. That's why I asked you that question about, it's how's your relationship with your doctor? Because I want it for you to be somebody that you trust, that you feel good working with. And that is a little bit more of an ideological match for you. Because chances are, if you told your doctor I'm doing aromatherapy and a phytoestrogen product, they might laugh at you or they might think you're silly. I wish, and I don't know if that's even true about your doctor, but I just want you to I just want you to get another opinion.
Okay.
About how to work with your body, especially somebody who's worked with early menopausal onset, someone who just has experience in that realm. Why did your doctor decide to give you an antidepressant? What was the reasoning there?
I want to say that it was something to do with the way the antidepressant works. It has something to do with your hormone distribution center, or whatever you call it. It kind of works in the same way.
Understood. So I think when it comes to food, the challenge is for you. Do you think that your inability to lose weight is connected to excess snacking at work? If you had to guess.
No. No, I don't think I snack that much. I do feel like it is part of the menopause, because I have done diets and done things in the past. I eat really clean. I move a lot when I'm not at work. I do a regular exercise routine. In fact, I've last year, 2020, I decided that I was going to see myself through an exercise program for an entire year, because you have ups and downs. I do it really strong for some time and then I quit for a while and then I go back to it. So I said I was going to go for an entire year and commit to doing it a year. Well, this is working on year 3. So I eat fairly clean. I've been working out steady for almost 3 years. I don't really think it has to do with what I'm eating and what I'm doing.
Got it. Okay. So that's why I would love for you to defocus on food, eating only when you're hungry. It's a reasonable goal. I have the same goal. I just prefer to eat only when I'm hungry. Do I eat when I'm not hungry? Absolutely. And do I overdo it? Yeah, occasionally. But by and large, there's going to be times, I think, just being a human being alive on planet Earth, when you and I are just going to eat when we're not hungry because it feels good.
Yeah.
Relieves a little tension, relieves a little stress, relieves a little boredom. And if you're eating clean and the snacks that you mentioned to me, I think great. If I was in your shoes, I'd be thinking about, what's a way of eating for me that just feels healthy for my body, that feels good to my body. Forgetting about weight. Let's say you were at the perfect weight and you were just interested, hey, it's me, it's Teri. I want to be healthy. I want to live long. Are you a mom?
Yes.
Yeah. So you want to live long. You want to see your grandkids, maybe your great grandkids. I don't know. So what's the kind of diet, and you don't have to answer this, but I'd ask yourself the question, what's the kind of diet that you would follow such that you kind of like the food? Mm-hmm. And at the same time, this is relatively good for me. It's healthy for me. Because it sounds to me like you're in that zone somewhere that you know how to eat healthy for yourself. And it sounds like your body does give you feedback. Because I know a lot of people who they'll say, yeah, I ate paleo and lost weight, or I ate vegan and lost weight, or I ate whatever diet and lost weight, but now I do it and it doesn't feel good anymore. Mm-hmm. So, and there's a lot of people who don't notice that they don't feel good, or they override that body feedback. So I'm really saying that I think you're on the right track. And let me ask you this question. Since you were diagnosed as being in early menopause, what does menopause mean to you? Like when you think about menopause, I'm going through menopause. Like, what is that to you other than this thing that messes up your sleep and seems to be interfering with your weight?
I guess I really hadn't thought about it much. I figured I was going to be going through menopause in my late 50s. Mm-hmm. I have some aunts and stuff who, whenever they were going through menopause, they were always fanning themselves, hot flashes. They never could get cool enough, things like that. But yeah, I was really shocked whenever he told me that. It was almost kind of like, kind of depressing, whenever I heard that. I was like, no, that can't be me. Not yet. That kind of feeling.
Yeah. It probably might've been 5 or 6 years early for you. So, normally that would start to happen, sometime in your late 40s. So a little bit early. And yeah, I think it's perfectly reasonable to go like, not me, not yet, because on some level, it symbolizes that certainly that you're not a childbearing human anymore. Mm-hmm. You're losing that ability, but it's almost symbolizing that you're not the youngster anymore that you used to be. So that's a little confronting when we start to realize, like, I'm not a youngster anymore. Mm-hmm. On the flip side, though, and here's the thing, I'll just offer this up. When I was talking before that I've worked with so many women going through menopause. Normally medicine treats it in previous times, medicine treated menopause like a pathology, like a disease. And it still feels like that's what's in the atmosphere, that menopause is this thing you don't want to do, even though the body's going to do it at some point. And yeah, it's this hormonal storm. And a lot of times it's not just hot flashes, but it's have you noticed, has there been an emotional ride for you?
Yes. Probably right before I was diagnosed, I was on a crazy roller coaster. In fact, I had a lot of evenings where I had a lot of depression and things like that. And then once I did get diagnosed, it kind of felt like, oh, well, that kind of makes sense, that I'm not myself. I knew I wasn't myself. Yeah. As far as that goes, I don't feel that way anymore. As far as the ups and downs emotionally, I feel like that's leveled out and that's gotten a lot better.
Mm-hmm. I would love for you to think about, from, moving forward from this conversation, and this is getting back to just my experience of working with menopause, is to start to think about it from the perspective of, what does this mean for me as a person? What does this mean for me as a woman? What does this mean for me spiritually? emotionally or just your own spiritual religious growth, because it is symbolic of the next leap into womanhood. And you're undergoing a transformation. And a lot of that transformation is, I think it's a spiritual transformation. And I think part of the emotional roller coaster is, a lot of times when we're going through a transition, it's difficult. If you're moving from one house to another, that's a transition, it's difficult. If you're giving birth, that's a transition, it's difficult. It's a nice thing that's going to happen. You're going to pop out a baby. So there's something good on the other side, but the transition itself is challenging.
Mm-hmm.
So menopause as a spiritual, emotional transition, you're stepping into a different level of your queenhood. That's kind of how I look at it, is you're becoming a queen like never before. So the question becomes, what does that mean for you? What if you were to look at yourself and say, how is life asking me to grow as a woman? What would the answers be for you? And that's something that only you could know for yourself, or you can tap into, or you can keep listening to. But I like to think that whatever symptoms we're going through are often just in part, they're here to teach us.
Mm-hmm.
They're here to help us grow as a person. Does anything kind of occur to you when I ask the question, how is this asking you to grow as a woman? Does anything pop up for you?
Yes. I've recently started looking at myself in the corporate world. I tell you, I have a high-paced job. I've always been very shy and very meek in what I do. I've always looked for other people to tell me what to do and how to do, and want to please people and things like that. And I've definitely felt the shift of, I'm not a people pleaser anymore. I do have an opinion. I need to feel confident about my opinion. I did for most of the year, I did a gratitude journal, trying to find feelings and things. And probably about 2 weeks ago, I decided to do a shift. I said, I think I need to start doing a journal on things that I'm good at, things that give me value, that give, that I'm good at, that can, why people would like me, why people would want to be around me, the things that I'm good at. Unfortunately, I haven't done it. I've only had the thought, but that's my next step, is to shift from a gratitude journal to a empowering type journal.
Teri, I love that for you. To me, you are just so on target, because a woman can't be a queen if she can't declare who she is. Mm-hmm. This is me. Like, a queen sits on her throne and she loves her queendom. She bestows her gifts upon her queendom. She's good. She's benevolent. I'm talking about a good queen. She uses the wisdom of her years to help herself and to help others. And a good queen doesn't sit on her throne and go, hey, everybody, do you approve of me? Am I good enough for you? What should I do? And is my weight okay? Actually, I don't think it is. If I lose more weight, I bet you're going to love me more. Not what a good queen does. A good queen tends to be okay with who she is. Yeah, you might want to make some changes, but those changes aren't essential to a queen respecting herself, honoring herself, loving herself, and being able to acknowledge what her gifts are and what her talents are. So when you tell me, like, yeah, I used to be a people pleaser and that's not me anymore, that's your voice coming out. Mm-hmm. Maybe, I don't know that this is true, but maybe one of the gifts of early menopause is it's inspiring you to really come out with your voice. And your voice means, this is me. This is Teri. Here's what I believe. Here's what's important to me. Here's what I like. Here's what I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what you can say to me. Here's what you can't say to me. That's you just owning yourself. And I'm guessing that's what the world wants from you. That's probably what your kids want.
Yeah.
So you finding your voice, I think, is such a powerful practice, and the kind of journaling where you just literally do an inventory. You could just do a bullet point list, just an inventory of all your talents, all your skills, all the things that you like about you, that you go, hey, here's what's good about me.
Mm-hmm.
Here's some of my God-given abilities. Here's what I do naturally that's really wonderful, or that I stand behind. And I think the more you can do that, the more you're getting the benefit of this transition that you're going through, menopause, which on the one hand is physiologic. But traditionally, in so many cultures, when women were going through menopause, it was seen as a powerful transition into queenhood, a powerful transition into something more. Because again, you are no longer the young woman who gives birth and is trying to get approval. Who do I got to be? What do I got to do? So you all love me. Now's the time in life where you just start to share yourself in a whole different way. And it's hard to give your true gifts if you haven't owned them.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
And the good news is you're starting to own it. You're starting to own yourself. It sounds like never before.
Yeah. I could definitely feel a shift, a change.
I think that's so important to acknowledge. And what's so strange about this, life works in odd ways sometimes. It would seem to be that it would be easier if, menopause didn't give you a weight gain and it didn't mess with your sleep, because then I could step into my power. Feel good when I wake up in the morning and I look in the mirror and I go, yeah, okay, I weigh what I want to weigh. Everything's great. I'm all powerful and such. And a lot of times life just doesn't work that way. We're often asked to find our power. And you probably know this in some of the difficult times, and you've come through difficulties. If you've been through divorce, you've gone through difficulty. If you've been raising children, you've gone through difficulty. So, and you know that you've grown from it. Mm-hmm. And that's never going to stop. We'll have other difficulties, and early menopause, that's a difficulty. Menopause itself, it's a difficulty. And our job is to try to harness the power that's in that challenge, in that process. Because it might even be sort of like a butterfly coming out of a cocoon. Starts out as a caterpillar, spins a cocoon, and there's a point when that caterpillar's in the cocoon when it's no longer a caterpillar. But it's not quite a butterfly yet. There's a little transition zone.
Right.
And it's just a little uncertain. It's a little shaky, but that's why there's a cocoon around it. So, I think it's really good that for you to just notice what helps you protect your energy right now. Like, what's the emotional cocoon you need to create in your life, the energetic cocoon, the spiritual protection around you that you need to invoke. And how to be in relationship with yourself where you're doing your best to step out of judgment. Not weighing what we want is an easy place to be in judgment. And it's an easy place to be in, oh, I'm not good enough. But when I hit my target, I'll be good enough. And there's every chance you're gonna hit the target that you want to hit weight-wise. We just don't know when it's going to be. So there's almost a part of me that wants to suggest that if you're eating well for yourself and you're nourishing yourself in a good way, and yeah, occasionally at work, you eat when you're not hungry, and you're moving through menopause right now, don't put extra stress on yourself, is my opinion. Just be a little more gentle about the timing of when weight loss needs to happen. You know, life knows your wish. You know what your wish is. Great. You know, you make your wish, you blow out the candles, and you just kind of chill for a little bit. Yeah, if you want to exercise and great, but exercise so you can feel good about being in your body, not so you can lose weight.
Well, I've actually figured out since I'm on that exercise journey for the last 3 years that exercise is not the thing doing it. So my focus in exercise is for health reasons. You know, I know it's good for me. I know I need to move, and that's why I keep doing it. Because otherwise, if I was doing it just to lose weight, I'd have already quit. So
yeah, good for you. You know, Teri, I have noticed over the years that weight loss is a mystery with a capital M. And there's a small subset of people where you change their diet and they lose weight. There's a small subset of people that you just get them moving and get them exercising. They don't even change their diet. They lose weight. And there's some people who, in order for them to lose weight, they have emotional work to do. They have stress or they have trauma to let go of. They have past undigested experiences that they need to kind of come to grips with and metabolize a little bit better. There are some people that, you know, you give them the right hormonal therapy, their weight shifts. There are some people you change their macronutrient balance, their weight shifts. You change the timing of their meals. You know, some people eat like a late breakfast and a late lunch and a late dinner, and you just shift everything back 3 hours. And that can still, so everybody's different. Mm-hmm. And there's some people who could do everything right, and the weight does what it does. And I'm a big believer in you just listen to what the body and you listen to what life is teaching you on your weight loss journey. So life has taught you, hey, Teri, exercise ain't going to get you where you want to go. It's not that it's bad.
Right.
And it's not that you shouldn't do it, but it's just like, that's not going to be the answer for you. Keto diet is not going to be the answer for you. Eating less of a snack at work is not going to be the answer for you. So life is just giving us that information. Like, okay, and I'm going through menopause, which is a historically just a difficult time to manage weight. So then I start to ask the questions, okay, then what's a good strategy? And sometimes a good strategy is to take a deep breath and not push, not force, and look at what one can at least shift in one's inner world. Because letting go of self-judgment always makes you feel lighter. Letting go of self-attack or blame or guilt always makes us feel lighter. Even if it doesn't make you lose weight, you'll still just feel better about yourself. You know, if there's negative self-talk, letting go of negative self-talk as best we can always makes us feel lighter.
I've been working on that a lot because probably between now and then the last 10 years, that was a thing. I had a lot of negative talk, a lot of I'm not good enough. I can't do enough. This isn't perfect enough. And going through this is kind of made me see, you don't have to be perfect. Everything doesn't have to be exactly so. I need to kind of let go of trying to control everything, everything in my world but I've definitely noticed that I'm trying to be more accepting of myself. There's nothing wrong with me. And I don't know why I think there's something wrong with me.
You're not the first person to have that interesting, strange belief. I think that belief infects a lot of human beings. It really easily we tend to catch it from the world. We catch it from the media. We catch it from our environment, probably at a very young age, where we just hold the false belief. I'm not good enough as I am. I got to be perfect. I'm not lovable. But if I just could do this or look like that or be this kind of person, then everything's going to be okay. And, if you're a mom, I think one of the easiest ways to think about it is, how would you love on your child? If your child didn't exactly have the body that they exactly want, would you be looking at them thinking you're not good enough? Would you be judging them? Would you be pushing them or telling them, I'm not going to be nice to you until you get rid of that baby fat? No, you just keep loving them. And I think that's a lot of what life is asking you to do. And you've been rising to the occasion of that. So to me, in a strange way, you're kind of exactly where you need to be, which is not perfect. Not perfect. And okay, not perfect. Can I start to love myself in that place? Mm-hmm. Because like I said, if all the conditions were met, you got the perfect weight, you got the perfect job, perfect this, perfect that, then there's really no spiritual challenge there. It's a little harder to grow into some of these lessons that are just they're more soul kind of lessons. They're bigger life lessons that sometimes it takes us a lifetime to learn. It takes us a lot of times into our 30s, our 40s, our 50s, even longer to learn a little bit of self-love and let go of the perfectionism and, find more self-acceptance. And you're doing it. And it's not perfect.
But it's starting to feel good.
Yeah.
Feel better.
Yeah. How you feeling about this conversation, Teri?
I think it's spot on. It's kind of, I really was looking for some, maybe if I needed a redirection or some reaffirming of what my thoughts were on the situation. And you've kind of reaffirmed what I had in the back of my head, the thoughts about the menopause. And I've had some friends that's talked to me and asked me if I liked my doctor. And I said, well, he's a new doctor. My old doctor retired, the one who saw me through both my kids. And so I really don't know this doctor, but I really haven't spent a lot of time. And when I think about it, I don't know that he seems real interested to spend a lot of time. So exploring another option definitely sounds like something that I need to do.
Yeah, it can't hurt. It's you just being a queen and looking for the best advisors that work for you. Mm-hmm. Because you deserve that. And that's what you'd want for any of your loved one, like the best advisor, the best doctor, the best teacher, the best coach, the best lawyer, whatever, mm-hmm. for them. And so let's just try to find the best one for you. And at the same time, you be the best person for you. So I've got every confidence that you're going to move through this and find your voice like never before and find your power and own your gifts like never before. That to me is what's most important, because your body's just been telling you, you can do what you want. And right now the weight's not coming off. So then what else do we look at?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, in terms of direct weight loss, I would want to see you explore what the potential is for a different physician, bioidentical hormone therapy. So that more addresses the physiology, the hormones, potential help with weight loss. But while that's in process, who do you need to be such that you're being the Teri that you're meant to be? That you're growing into the Teri that's the best expression of who you came here to be in this world. And when it comes to weight, let's just let the chips fall where they may.
That's how they're doing anyway.
Yeah. Teri, I really appreciate the conversation. I really appreciate you being brave and courageous and doing this with me.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Take care, and more to come, my friends.
Hey friends, we're so happy that you've joined us for another episode of The Psychology of Eating with Marc David. Are you loving these episodes? Then simply subscribe and you'll never miss an episode again. We'd also love it if you'd leave us a comment below so we can hear more about your own journey with food and body. And if you're curious about what we offer at the Institute for the Psychology of Eating, including our internationally acclaimed coach certification training that's rooted in dynamic eating psychology and mind-body nutrition, please head on over to our website, psychologyofeating.com. Until next time, take care. And remember, having the body you want starts with loving the body you have.